Hello, everybody. Welcome back. My name is Kent. I'm joined today with Grandma. Hello, Grandma.
Hello, Kent.
Good to see you again.
Yeah, you too.
Thank
You
you.
too.
So, last time we left it off with the debate of war. What is happening, Grandma?
Well, what I have noticed is that people are debating this war on terms which is not longer valid. Uh, they are debating this war as if it's only a conventional war, but it's not. This time we have nuclear in the picture, nuclear weapons, and they're not taking that into consideration. And also another thing. Um, They never speak about the human suffering, the loss of life, both in Ukraine and Russia. And it's hundreds and hundreds of thousands so far. And um, and when I say they, it's uh, it's our politicians who are in the parliament. It's um, journalists. It's people from the army. They are debating this war as if they are sitting at home playing with tin soldiers in the kitchen table. And
Yeah, it's strange to see that, regardless if you think the war that's going on today, of which side is right, it's you see the one side, that's Russia with its companions. They say one thing and they talk about everything that's going on, but we in the West and the West coverage, we don't seem to grasp that the other side has nuclear weapons and are actually prepared to launch them. It's so
exactly,
it seems like Russia and its partners are clear that the West has nuclear weapons and could use them and have made some preparation about this. But we in the West, it seems like we don't care if the Russians have nuclear weapons. We just do our thing. So, it's, so regardless if we have a just cause of helping the Ukrainians, and say it's the if for example if it was the most important thing in the world to support the Ukrainians, if we support the Ukrainians and we have atomic bombs erasing the world, should we still do it? And what about, so we don't cover it, we cover it like it was a normal war.
yeah, exactly. And this is not a normal war.
Yeah.
For the first time in history, nuclear weapons are on the plate, and they are not taking that into consideration at all.
Hmm.
So this this debate going on uh, of who is to blame, um, who started the war, is it a proxy war, is it not a proxy war, is Putin the bad guy, is Zelensky the bad guy, all this debate um, doesn't hit the mark at all. Absolutely not. And I have seen, for example, in social media, I have seen politicians in the parliament, for example, saying we cannot allow Putin to threaten with nuclear weapons, for example. That's one argument. As if Putin is asking anyone, can I be allowed to threaten you with nuclear? It's a debate on intellectual level, which is so out of touch, so stupid, I will say, very stupid.
I can't find any logical sort of ideas behind this. So when you see the politicians stand and talk like they have a just cause, which they may have, but they don't acknowledge that the other side can eliminate us. So
No,
we in the West maybe can eliminate them also, but the cause itself, the root cause, is so important to, let's say, the other side, the Russians, that they won't back down.
yeah,
Is this
and this they
the
should know. This they should know from history. Yes, they should know this. Yeah,
Hmm.
but they don't even take history into consideration. Some people say they don't know history, they are stupid and stuff like this, but I don't think they are stupid. I don't think they are stupid. I think they are at some level evil or something. They have lost big parts of humanity, how we used to. Norway, for example, is known around the world to be the biggest peace nation. And where did all that go? It used to be a big industry in Norway, peace. As soon as any conflict was erupting somewhere in the world, a big apparatus was activated, and Norwegian peace brokers have been traveling all over the world in small conflicts and big conflicts.
It's
For more
strange.
than,
It's strange to see this. So,
yeah,
but so in some way, they have to believe that the Russians are not serious. Because if they thought that the Russians were serious, they couldn't possibly do and say the things they're doing. Or
no,
am I
I don't
talking
think,
from a logical side
yeah,
now, and they are not logical? Because I
I
think
don't think,
everybody can see that
yeah,
it's not logic that runs this.
no, it's
Because
not. It's
it
it's ideology. They um, they don't want to. This debate they have going now makes them feel they belong to a bigger group, and ideology and narrative, and that becomes, and it's this who becomes the main thing. And if you like I have been doing in social media, for example, going into a comment field, and I say, for example, yes, but Putin has nuclear weapons. Why don't you take this under consideration? And they don't come back with arguments. No, no, no. They start to throw bad names at you, and yeah, even
yeah, it seems like people
politicians in
have
the
taken a
parliament.
side. It seems like the people itself has taken a side that it's, for example, Ukraine that has a just cause and they defended with everything, or they defend the Russians. And It's one side against another. But
Yes.
isn't it interesting to see that the politicians and the journalists are pretty much, there's no difference.
No, absolutely
Journalists
not.
don't have any questions about this.
No, they are clinging on to their ideology and narrative. And if you disturb that with a question about nuclear, for example, or if you say, no, but we have to stop this war because hundreds and thousands of people have lost their lives. And they are brothers, they are sons, they are fathers. And the suffering, the human suffering, they don't want to hear about this. Absolutely not. And also, it's a big question also. Ukraine cannot win this war against Russia. And this they knew from the beginning, that this is not possible.
They should have known
So,
at least. Yeah.
yeah, they should have known. Yes, they should have known.
But it's
And
interesting to see that. So to confirm your point, I saw that the Russians and the Ukrainians had agreed to a swap of bodies, and I
yeah,
saw the Russians came with 6,000 bodies, and the Ukrainians haven't taken them.
yeah, yeah.
And is there any coverage about this?
No, absolutely not. And it's very little coverage about almost nothing in media about the loss of human life and the human suffering. You never see any numbers. Sometimes in an article, buried deep in the article, it could come some numbers. You never see this. Um, you never see any of the human suffering at all. They keep it from the people
But in
because they want to keep the narrative.
yeah,
That's what they want.
but in civilized societies, there should be
Mhm.
debate. It should
Yes.
be allowed to say, if some people mean one thing and some people mean another thing, there should be a platform, a big platform that gives space for the opposite side to express their opinions. But now everything is put down and there's no debate about
No.
what the official narrative is, especially here in
Mhm.
the West where
Yeah.
we come from.
Yeah. Everyone who tried to say something logic, something um, maybe the Russians are doing this because of this. They are cancelled and smeared, and even professors are cancelled if they. We have a quite world famous professor in Norway called Glenn Deason. When he is coming with, and his profession is Eurasia, so he knows a lot about Russia and the region there. And for example, um, when he says something about the Russians had said for many years that the red line is for NATO to come to Ukraine, and then it's like a flock of hyenas attacking him, calling him Putinist and canceling him and everything like this.
Why do you think
And
they go after the person and not the subject itself?
I think it's because they want to stay in their ideology and in their group, in their flock, and they are very, very scared to not be a part of this. It's the same mechanism as we saw with COVID, I think. People need to belong to the flock, and they are too scared to. And someone is creating the narrative, and who that is, I don't know. Maybe it's a small group of people. Maybe it's a group of politicians. Maybe I don't know who is creating this, but someone is creating it because
I think you
you
should look for the
see the
money.
same. Yeah, you see the same narrative all over in the newspapers, in everywhere. You see the same narrative. So it has to
Ask
go out.
yourself. I think
Yeah,
the public, they ask yourself, who can you not criticize,
yeah,
and follow the money. If you follow the money
yeah,
and you follow the power, where do you then end up?
yeah,
There you
yeah.
have your answer.
Mhm.
But then again,
Well,
we as normal people, how come we accept this? Because we are the majority and they are definitely not.
yeah,
We see this from now, the coverage, the um, the hiding of the truth, and you see from COVID, which you example, we normal people, we should have an interest in our lives, and we seem to have shutters on. We don't want to acknowledge
yeah.
what's going on. Why do you think this is?
Oh, it's very frustrating, of course. Um, I think it has to do with this mass formation psychosis. Um, when I say they, I have to underline again, I don't know who the they are, but it is someone who is trying to control what people should think and feel. It's obvious. It's very obvious. And now um, they went from exercising this control under COVID, and now they just moved it to the narrative which has to do with war. And
But it's for the same objective, yes?
yes, I think so.
Hmm.
Yes, and I also I don't understand um, when it comes to Ukraine. People say don't care about how many people are dying and stuff like this. They don't care about this. Um, Ukraine should fight till the last soldier, and yeah,
It's
and
evil. It's
yeah,
basically evil.
yeah,
Hmm.
and mm, if I try to say something small thing about this in private, for example, people get very aggressive, and they say to me, um, "So if Norway was attacked, we should just give it." You
Hmm.
see? Yeah, and uh, in that in such moments, this Nazi allegations is very close,
Hmm.
you know.
Yeah, so
And
people
then
have known it both. So
yeah, yeah, and then you have Gaza, which is also devastating.
hmm.
But there, people care about the human suffering.
Here in Norway they do,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's
Here in Norway,
interesting
they
to
do.
see that our government supports Palestine,
Mhm.
but most Western governments support Israel and Netanyahu.
Yeah, most part they do.
Yeah.
But But the point is that people, politicians, and when it comes to Gaza, they care about human suffering. And what I don't understand is that that people don't see the unlogical thing with this. They disregard human suffering when it comes to the war in Ukraine, and when it comes to Gaza, they care very much. Why are not people asking themselves question? Isn't this quite strange? No, they don't. And I don't understand this. And not even politicians in the parliament or people in the army or professors and people who are debating this in social media. Not even them are seeing this. That is something wrong here.
So I find it strange that the journalists don't do a better job following the money and making justice happen. And so when you talk about Gaza, you have so if you like the Palestinians or Israelis or not, when you see children dying because they can't get water and can't get food, if you don't react to this, I think it's actually something wrong with you.
Yeah,
Because it's
and
one side.
the same thing in Ukraine.
Yeah, but it's as a Ukraine, they have. I'm not going to compare it straight now, but when you see in with the Palestinians, you have one side that has the tanks and the planes and the bulldozers, and the other side have small guns
Yeah,
and they don't
that's
let.
not very far from the truth in Ukraine either,
Yeah, but in Ukraine they
because
have.
Russia have weapons and manpower, which is
Yeah, it's better, but they at least can fight somewhat back.
yeah,
At least that's the narrative. That the narrative is that the Ukraine is winning. So, but I understand what you're saying.
yeah,
But it's so we come back to it. It's what you mean and what I mean about a thing is not. It's one thing, but the thing itself, the cause, the truth is the truth.
yeah,
And people look at the truths from their own perspective. But the truth is still the truth.
yes,
Yeah.
it
Like
is.
you say in Gaza, and if it's the Ukraine or something else. So there's narratives being pushed by different people with different agendas and like this. As normal people, we should aim to find the truth and make your own opinion up.
Yeah,
And
and also what is also so bad about this is that um, those who don't care 1 second about the human suffering in Ukraine, they portray themselves as they are the good people, the good side.
yeah,
They are humane. They are everything moral good. And
so I find it interesting that the perspective is like this because
yes,
if you see, if you mentioned Ukraine now, you see that the coverage here, they say that Ukraine is winning and like this. But on the other side, they have said that Ukraine is losing 10 guys and the Russians are losing one maximum.
yeah, mhm.
10 to 1
Just
now.
like, yeah. And it's not only the
If it's that much.
nuclear. Yeah, it's not only the nuclear weapons, by the way.
Mhm.
It's also these hypersonic missiles, um, which is also a very powerful weapon that Russia have. But Yeah, and that's the point here is that the debate is not debating the topic.
Yeah, it's
It's
basically
beside the
it's
topic.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
and
narrative
also
based.
like I said to one of my grandchildren, uh, I was understanding that she was about to, how to say, mm, come into an leftist environment where mm, where they protest to free Palestine and all that things, and it's coming in a lot of other stuff with this. But I said, and she said to me, "They are killing grandchildren. They are killing children, Grandma." She said to me, and I said to her, "Yeah, that's true. Israel, they are killing children, but so does Hamas. So if you support Israel, you support someone who killed children. If you support Hamas, you support someone who killed children." So, um,
It's difficult to be a normal person and look
yeah,
up to the politicians that many people do, and they
yeah,
defend them with
mm,
everything they got. And there's every
yeah,
person has something good inside them, maybe,
yes,
and every person has
mm,
something evil inside them,
yeah,
maybe. People can make their own opinion about this, but
yeah,
and nobody sees the good and the bad. So make a choice about the person they don't like. If they have
mm,
somebody they like, they defend this person with everything they got. And the
yeah,
same is on the other side. If you don't like this person, they can't do anything good. They have no redeeming qualities and can't do anything good for around themselves. Don't,
mm,
yeah, be nice to their children and anything else. So it's interesting to see that it's always black and white.
yeah, yes, it is. But when it comes to war, uh, and speaking about truth, I think the truth is that the only moral thing to do when it comes to war is to try to do everything to stop war and create peace.
Nobody
I
wins
don't
if you have a nuclear war, at least.
know. And war was never creating anything good.
Hmm.
So we have to be,
As I think people should reflect about this. So
yeah,
what is war exactly? It's a continuation of policy. It's
yes,
one man or woman that wants something from the other side and
mm,
that they don't get it, and they finally go to war.
mm,
To so the end is always that the people are suffering.
yeah,
If it's the ancient kings and queens, or if it's today's prime ministers and presidents and captains of industry, it's always the same. It's the
yeah,
people that pay
yeah,
every time.
and especially the children.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have, I think, the conclusion have to, mm, the conclusion have to be to not pick a side in any war, to just be
Yeah, it's interesting to see.
on the side of peace.
Yeah, it's interesting to see that
Mm,
talking has been overrated now.
mm, yeah,
We, as a former peace nation, we
mm,
have our prime minister said it's war is the way to peace.
yeah,
We
yeah, then the lunacy is complete.
Mhm.
It is complete.
But this is extremely interesting to see that, let's say we now in the West, we consider everything we do as the right way, the just way. We want to push democracy. We have many reasons to do what we do. But look at the results of the things we're doing. So, for example, the thing that comes to my mind and Norway is Libya.
Yeah.
You can say what you want about Gaddafi at that time.
Mm.
He had some bad qualities, but he also had something good about him. Also, if people should look into this and
Mm.
see what was Libya under Gaddafi and look at what it is now.
Yeah.
And our prime minister, he sent the planes to bomb because they needed practice.
Yeah. That's how crazy it is. That's how crazy it is.
And we have no debate about this. And
No.
if we see Europe, for example, see what NATO did in former Yugoslavia.
Mm.
I'm not taking any sides, but NATO took a side.
Yeah. The bombing of Belgrade, for example,
It's horrible.
was devastating.
Uh,
And now they are on their high horses and they say that Putin is the bad guy. Yes?
uh,
And the same guy who says Putin is a bad guy and only this is the same guy who was killing more than 20,000 women and children in Libya.
hmm. So
So,
people need to wake up. Please, everybody, just
yeah,
read your history. History
yeah,
is interesting.
yeah,
Hmm.
it is. And root for peace.
Yeah.
Don't take sides. Just demand peace.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I think at least some of us, Grandma, have a soul. And soul is important, I think, to examine.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
what do you think about this?
To root for peace is a part of the soul, I will say.
Hmm.
And next time we will have a guest, and his name is Rune Amundsen. He has been studying the soul for 50 years now, and he's Norway's leading expert in this topic and in near-death experience. And I think it will be a very, very exciting conversation we will have with him.
I'm very much looking forward to this. Very much, actually.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you for interesting conversation today, Rama.
You too. Thank you.
Look forward to talking to you next time, and I will say thank you to everybody for listening. See you next time. Goodbye.
See you next time. Bye bye.